Okay, Randolph.
Good morning, auxiliary family. I'm so glad to be here with you today to begin talking about how we can get fall ready together. Our focus is about to shift. We're about to start thinking about how we return to campus. So we want to start talking about it a little bit with you and start preparing ourselves for it. We've been away from the campus we love so much for so long now. We've probably changed our habits, and it might be time to start thinking about getting back into shape for getting up in the morning and those kind of things. So we've done a good job of staying connected and growing during this time, and that's something we're really proud of, and something that I believe is really going to help us as we begin to think about getting ready to return to campus. Now, we don't know exactly when that will be or what it might look like. We suspect it will look quite different than what we're used to. We probably won't see the number of people on buses or the number of people in dining halls that we're used to at first. So we will work together through this to be able to manage and to be able to be prepared for whatever we might face. But that's going to take us staying connected and united. That's what we've built here. We've built a connection that's strong, and we want to continue it. And we need to continue it because we need to be better than ever when we return to campus in order to support our faculty, staff, and students. So I hope you'll join us over the next several weeks as we start to shift our focus during these auxiliary connections, and we start to move into programming that we'll take a look at what things might look like when we return to campus and how we can be prepared to be the absolute best and provide our campus the absolute best service possible. Let's remember, we're all in this together, and let's get fall ready together.
Good morning, auxiliary family. How we're doing? I hope everyone's doing great. It is Friday. It's Friday. We're excited about Friday. If you're not excited, you got to join me in this, because Saturday and Sunday, I get to kick my legs up and chill and have some good coffee and spend some more time with the family, maybe a picnic. But we're excited that you're here. I see right now the numbers are ticking in and coming in. We've got an exciting presentation for you this morning. It will start with Susan from our OneStop Shop to talk a little bit about their fall readiness. And then we got a little treat for you. So our own Alan Coker is going to talk a little bit about, we're calling it muscle memory. And if you're wondering what muscle memory is basically that we've been through these kinds of changes before, and we've been able to endure it, and we've been able to build some strength. And we're going to use that strength to continue to go through what we're going through right now and come out even stronger. And so Alan Coker, who has a lot of experience in auxiliary and have done a lot of things and have been a part of many, many transitions, will talk to us a little bit about some of those transitions that he's been through, and will give us some advice in terms of what does that mean for you and for me and for us as an organization. So I will start the presentation for Susan. But Susan, you can go ahead and start introducing yourself while I roll your presentation.
Okay, my name is Susan Wyrock. I am the interim manager at the OneStop Shop, have been since December 1st. Good morning, everyone, and I hope everyone had a good week, and I miss seeing everybody on campus, and I guess we're gonna have to stop the hugging when we come back, but you know, at a time like this, we realize, you know, the real important things to us, like our family, our friends, and our work family. And I hope to be able to see all of you soon. You know, there's a lot of uncertainty right now, and I have picked up what a lot of people have, the faith over fear. So, you know, when I came to Parking Services in 2009, August 2009, I had been at a car dealership for 37 years, and I had done payroll and dealt with vehicles, and I had done financial reports, and I just loved the balancing stuff and dealing with vehicles. Well, when I had the opportunity to come to Parking Services, I was going to be the appeals clerk, and I would be dealing with vehicles again. And so I was real excited, you know, when I came. Now, when I came in 2009, everything was paper. There were paper appeals. And we had 5 committees on our faculty staff board, 5 faculty or staff from the University Council. And I had to make 5 copies of every faculty and staff appeal, and take those through campus mail, send them to these people. They would actually make decisions on them. And then once a month, we'd get back together and we discuss them. Now, back then, there were probably only 10 to 20. And then we had student appeals. Well, the student appeals was handled by the student judicial. So I would have to make copies of 30 to 40, maybe 50 citation appeals. I would send them to the head of judicial. At that time, there were only about 10 members, students that actually made those decisions. Now today, all that's online. And there's 35 to 40 students that actually make the decisions on the student appeals. And the staff council still has 3 to 5 members, and they make those decisions. Now, my goal this year is to get our visitor appeals online. And I'm sure that would help our appeals clerk now, which is Carrie Kazemi. In 2010, I became the operations supervisor under Blaine Van Note. And at that time, I had 5 students and 5 full-time employees. Now we've moved over to the OneStop Shop December 2019, December 1st, and I became the interim OneStop manager. And now when we left, we had 15 students and 5 full-time employees. And we handle like the staff, faculty, and student permits. There's about 20,000 of those. We handle about 800 vendor contractor permits yearly. We handle daily permits for visitors or someone that doesn't have a permit. They've left their permit in another vehicle, which with LPR that has, helped a lot. We have got 5 members, 5 full-time at the OneStop Shop, myself, the interim manager, Teresa Cash, which she's our expert on our food services and dining services. We have Carrie Kazemi, she's our administrative lead. Then we have Juanita North and Jamie Wade, which they're our administrative assistants. And Randolph, if you can change the screen, please. We facilitate, all the parking and dining for these. And we also do the lost and found for the campus transit. Right now we handle team dynamics. You've heard that this week about people doing tickets and team dynamics. Well, for parking and now for the OneStop Shop. In December, when all operations moved to the OneStop Shop, we took the team dynamics with us and we answered, that is our email system. And that email system is handled, if you'll turn to the next screen, by Jamie. Go to the next screen, please. Okay. The team dynamics is handled by Jamie Wade. And the reason we set it up, the email in there was so that we could actually answer those emails and 5 or 6 people could see that those emails were answered in a timely manner. Jamie does a very good job on that. She also handles the DMVs and the TouchNet. And the TouchNet is where the payments for the citations come in and she actually downloads them to our Flex. The DMVs is where our vehicles on campus are ticketed. They're not connected to anyone. So they actually get DMV to Georgia, and then Georgia sends us a report back the next day, and Jamie would actually connect those back to that. So before we go any further, if you can move back one screen, Randolph, we're going to have a challenge in our office setting forth for fall because we have a very tight office. Our staff will be wearing masks. We will be only able to limit 2 customers in the office at a time. That's going to be a bit of a challenge. And then trying to sanitize between those 2 as they come in. And we're hoping to put up, we'll have shields, we know, between the customers and the staff. And we're hoping to put up some kind of barriers between the two customers in our office. And if you'll go to the next screen again. What I'd like to do now is turn over to Carrie, and Carrie will tell you a little bit more about what she does in our office. So if you could unmute Carrie.
In 1 minute, Teresa. I mean, Susan.
Okay.
Fine, Carrie.
Carrie's unmuted.
Thanks, Julia.
Hey, everybody. Let me get to the right spot here. Hey, guys and girls. It's nice to actually get to see everybody and speak about what I do at the OneStop Shop. Of course, I do appeals and I converse with the student staff. The student appeals board. I also meet with, I just had a meeting with them. They just turned over leadership at the within student judicial, so it was exciting to meet someone new. I also help facilitate students that work for us with their scheduling and hiring. But the biggest thing that's coming up is our permit distribution. So to get fall ready for permit distribution, we're really going to have to be smart about how many people come into the office and where our lines can queue to keep people safe. So a couple of things that we've done this year will include, we've asked the bookstore to put up the tent outside so people can stand in line underneath the tent, of course, 6 feet apart. And then we will have the plexiglass between the customer service representative and the customer. So that'll be really helpful in keeping people safe. A little bit of change this year. We have 6 lots that are going to be physical permits this year. So that makes permit distribution a lot easier. So the 6 lots are North Deck, South Deck, N04, N05, SO2, and S13. And the only lot that's prioritized in that group to students will be South Deck, and specifically student residents. So that's our main focus, is how are those students going to come into our office, pick up their permit and get out, you know, with as least amount of contact as possible. So we're working through that with the tent and the privacy screen, or the plexiglass screen, and also we'll be wearing masks as well. So rough estimate on how many permits we'll probably mail out this year, probably 1,500. Those are for faculty and staff who choose to have their permits mailed to them. And then the rest will be picked up, and I'm roughly guessing about 800 students that will need to pick up their permit. But that is what I'm working on. I think that's pretty much all I have to say. It's really nice to see you guys, and I hope that y'all enjoy your Friday.
Thank you, Carrie. And now if we'll hear from Juanita North.
Juanita, you can unmute yourself when you're ready.
Susan didn't tell me I was going to be talking. my biggest part of my job is to do the departmental permits, state vehicles. So I process all of those for all of the departments on campus, and also football. So those are the 3 of the biggest things I do at this time of the year. Throughout the year, I also do dispatch for the monitors. So I handle all the dispatch, and they call me for issues and information that they cannot see it from their laptop to make sure we're not booting the wrong person. So pretty much dispatch is my main job, answering the phone along with the student workers. It seems like I do a lot more, but saying it's not coming out like a lot, but there's a lot to do.
You do validations.
Oh yes, I do the validations, and I do the for the new machines, the coding for the departments. And for some reason, the departments do not keep up with how many codes they've used. So they call daily for me to check how many codes they have left. So it's a lot of phoning and a lot of internet stuff throughout the day. And that's me. Also, I've been with parking for about 16 years now. I'm a creature of habit. I go one place and I stay put. So hope to see everybody soon when we get back to campus.
Thank you, Juanita. Okay, if you'll go to the next screen. Okay, our interim assistant manager at the One Stop Shop is Teresa Cash, and she's our expert in dining, and I'll turn it over to her.
Good morning, can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me.
We can hear and see you, Teresa.
Okay, good. All right. So I'm not really in the dry tortugas, which is what is in the background. I've been the meal plan specialist for 6 years now. I basically handle the sales of the meal plans, managing the contracts, billing, and receiving payments. So in the One Stop Shop itself, as far as if students are having problems with their meal plan, iris recognition, they'll come to me. And we actually can re-enroll them in the iris recognition in the One Stop Shop. And then also any other problems they may be having, they come to the One Stop Shop to sign up for the Bulldog Box, which is, most of you know, is the to-go program. They have to have a meal plan to get the Bulldog Box. And then we've got faculty staff meal plans. We've got the 10 block plan, which is our #1 plan for faculty and staff that can be purchased online via credit card or payroll deduction. They can also come in the office and pay for it also with a credit card. So every now and then we have some maybe doctorate students, students that are from Medical College of Georgia. They'll come in and they'll purchase a custom meal plan. Sometimes it's for the whole semester, sometimes it's for a certain amount of days. So that can also be done in the One Stop Shop. So that's pretty much what I do in the One Stop Shop. I'm learning parking, but slowly, especially since we haven't been there for almost 3 months. But once we get back, we'll start learning on that too. So that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Teresa. The one thing that will change when we come back to campus, and I haven't really told Teresa this, but our One Stop Shop email will go away. And the reason for that is there's a lot of duplications on our Team Dynamic email and our One Stop. So what we'll do is we will do away with the One Stop Shop, and then everything will start coming through the Team Dynamics. What that'll do is that'll actually allow Teresa to see what we're seeing on the parking side and for us to see what she's seeing on the dining side. So I think it'll be a lot better streamlined when we get it all together to the Team Dynamics emails, and we will train Teresa on that when we return to campus. So are there any questions about what we do or anything?
Yes, you all have 2 questions, and we'll field those questions first, and then we'll transition to Alan. And just for those on the chat and on the on YouTube, chat in your questions, and Julia will also send those our way, and we'll get them answered as well. And if folks are wondering what Randolph is doing in this seat, in this hosting seat today, Catherine, let me take the session for a little bit of a spin today. So you can tell I've had a lot of coffee and really excited to be doing some hosting role. And I see Alan is laughing himself out there. So Teresa and Susan, Teresa, any of our one-stop shop folks. The question is about student employees. Is there a plan to get student employees coming back in the fall? And if not, how are you all going to make up for the shortfall? And Alan, feel free to add in here as well, please.
We actually had about 4 to graduate this year. So that puts us about 9 or 10. And so we're just waiting for the okay, because they're constantly asking, are we going to be able to come back to work? So as soon as we have the okay, if that doesn't happen, then we'll just all have to work a lot harder. Our phones are our biggest thing, and they help a lot with our phones.
All right. We had another question from Tamla about email reminders for parking. And as I read the question, I remember as well that I haven't filled out my parking information yet. So are there going to be email reminders for parking?
There will be an email reminder. Usually we do a couple. We do one maybe the week before, and then one maybe the day before, just to say, you know, you have another chance. But everyone has till June 30th to get that done, to be in the first round. And with all the staff and faculty, they just need to grandfather, unless you want to change lots.
And we also see a comment from Todd, for those who are on YouTube and can't see the chat feature. Todd is saying that a reminder is actually going out this afternoon for parking. So Todd, appreciate that. I need to look out for it and do my parking stuff as well. We have a question. Julia, do we have any from YouTube?
Nope, none on the YouTube side yet.
All right. There is a question about whether there will be additional options for employees to purchase meal plan aside from the 10-month block. Susan or Teresa, any comments on that?
I'll let Teresa answer
that question. What was it?
She said, what's
the question was, will there be additional options for employees to purchase meal plans aside from the 10-block plan?
Okay, employees can purchase any meal plan we sell. Any meal plan we sell to students, an employee can purchase. The difference is they cannot pay by the month. So if they came in and they wanted a 65-block meal plan, they would have to pay for the whole semester of that meal plan plus sales tax. And the beginning and start dates would be exactly like they are for the students.
All right. Thank you very much, Teresa. So we're going to transition to Alan, but I can't transition to Alan until we answer the burning question that I see in the chat. And that question is, where is Tortilla Man? He slept in late today, but we had to wake him up and he had to show up for Friday. So Tortilla Man's here. Alan, we're going to turn things over to you for our muscle memory.
That's great, Randolph. I've had a lot of introductions in my life, but I've never had one like that. I'll have to remember that. Good morning, everybody. Good to be with you. As Randolph talked, he wanted me to talk a little about muscle memory and from my own experiences and moving forward. And I think he asked me to do that because he knows I'm in my 7th decade here on earth and that I'm gray haired and I look old. And so I think he's asking for experience. And I always take an opportunity like this to pick at Randolph. As Randolph said, muscle memory basically is when we go back and we rely on what we've done before when we're facing new situations. What is very interesting, all the things I've been through in my life, personally and as a leader in organizations, we've never seen anything like we're facing today. We've never seen the separations, the fears. And what I want to talk to you about today is we've been going through all of these sessions on what are we going to do as units? What are we going to do as auxiliaries to prepare for fall? What are we going to do to be fall ready? Well, I want today to address the individual. What are you and I going to do individually to prepare to be fall ready? See, we've got muscle memory from our past that we're going to be carrying forward. But it's very important that you and I personally be ready, because no organization or institution, college, university, etc., can function without individual people. And I'm hearing all these words, and there's fear, and there's change and challenge and opportunity. But the one that really stuck out to me was new normal. We're facing a new normal. And I want to share with you individually a couple of good points. Every day is a new normal. And the second point, we as human beings adjust to that new normal every day. I can honestly say, with 60-something years on this earth, I've never had the same day twice in a row. And each day I've had to be flexible and adapt to the changes and challenges and opportunities that are put before me. And you're ready, you're fall ready, because you already do that. And you're going to put that muscle memory to work as we come back on campus. Just think about your day. You get up, you drive to work. There's mornings I drive to work, there's an accident, there's a change, there's a challenge, there's an opportunity. Or you get to work and a coworker calls in sick, and we adapt to that. We fill the gap, we go forward, and we get the job, we get the mission done. Hey, there's a new coworker. Wow, we have to adapt in that area. And sometimes that's where you know your muscle memory is going, well, here's this new coworker, and they are working so slow, and you're just knocking it out. But guess what? You've been doing it for years, and they'll eventually get up to the place you are. And you've adapted, and you've done well, and you've helped them along. And there's the one always with the new boss. The new boss comes in. What are the new expectations? What's the new vision? You know, what's going to be our new strategic plan? What are going to be the expectations? And guess what? Each and every one of us has adapted to that. We get to work, the supplies don't arrive. The equipment we're working with has broken down. We can't get the part for 3 days. And guess what? We overcame as individuals and went forward, and the organization didn't falter. Personally, we get up in the morning and we've got a doctor's appointment that changes the schedule. We've got a child that's sick. And in our families, we have the blessings of birth, and we have the sad times of death. And what I'm trying to show you is each and every one of us get up every day and face a new normal in our personal lives. And we persevere, and we move forward, and we still get the job done because we as individuals know how to adapt as things change. Every day is a fluid situation. We have to be flexible and adapt. I know in my life, just multiple changes coming in. You look at technology. I mean, you just look at the technology that's happened. I can remember when the telephone was party line, and I had to tell my Aunt Velma to hang up because I needed to call the doctor's office. I can remember watching Star Trek, and there was this flip thing. They opened up this flip phone, and they could talk to anybody anywhere. And guess what? That's now ancient technology. We finally got that. The way we do travel, the way we've moved through airports. I remember the day I could go on an airplane with somebody and tell them goodbye there on the plane. And now, because of 9/11, I can't get past the ticket counter. We've adapted and worked into that. One of the ones I really think is unique is church worship. I remember as a child, you only had to have the organ to have the worship time before the sermon. And nowadays, I'm loving it. We have drums and guitars and 4 or 5 vocalists. Things have changed, and we've adapted to what's going on in our society. One thing we all adapt to in our lifetimes is government leaders. And on that, every 2 years, we have the opportunity to vote on new House of Representatives, congressmen, and new senators. And we have the opportunity every 4 years to vote for a new president. So I'm going to take a personal thing here and say, you have that right. Use your right to vote and be part of the change that is happening and adapt to that change. As soon as we get these new people in place, laws and regulations change. We see that right now. I was in a meeting yesterday, and it was pointed out that in the last 30 days, CDC has changed their rules and regulations with the coronavirus 3 times. And we're going to adapt to those rules, and we have. All of you have come together as individuals and worked at teams in each of your units to help the institution meet the demands and get fall ready for the students coming back. As I look back on my life, I just think of so many things that have caused change nationally. And from here, I'm going to talk a little personally. I remember as a child, my father coming home from work and getting myself and my two brothers and taking us out. And he takes us to this roadside with this crowd of people. And here comes this limousine. And it's got the top down, and sitting up on the back seat is this man in a suit, and he's waving. And my dad saying, "Wave to the president, boys, wave to the president." And there was John F. Kennedy just waving back at us as he went by. And a week later, he lost his life in Dallas, Texas. And I'm sitting there as a young child looking at TV and seeing the world's gone black. Everybody's wearing black. What's going on? This was a great man. This is my father. It meant so much to him that he took us to see. I think I froze there for a second. And you know, as a nation, we got past that. As individuals, we got past that. And we'll get past this too. Going into, in my own personal life, again, I was born when there was a war going on called the Vietnam War. And I remember as a 10-year-old sitting down with my father and him saying he had to go to Vietnam and saying, "Alan, you're now the man of the house. I need you to watch over your mother and your two little brothers." Wow, what a change. And guess what? We adapted. We worked through that year together with Dad being over in Vietnam. And it was a blessing that he came home. We adapted and we moved together as a family unit. We adapted as individuals. You might remember the invasion of Kuwait and the hostages that were taken out of Kuwait into Iraq and were used as targets protection in Syria. Well, I'm going to share something with you most people don't know. That was my in-laws. My father-in-law and mother-in-law were hostages of Saddam Hussein. And wow, did we have to adapt then. Sitting there and watching what's going on. But you know, they came home safely and we got through that. We adapt through that bad time. And we're all great. As a matter of fact, we all had a great Thanksgiving together this past year. The Persian Gulf War, when it breaks out, and seeing the tears in my father's eyes as 3 of his 4 sons go into the war with myself and 2 brothers stationed, and how that changed our families, not knowing who was coming home. And just fortunately, everybody came home. We adapted during that time. And we're still a strong family unit. And all 4 of us boys, a few years later, had the opportunity to bury my father, our hero, who had gone on before us and set the example of what we should do and how we are to adapt and how we are to move forward. We remember the economic collapse of 2008. How are we going to make it? There's no money, there's no jobs. I actually lost my job as a vice president at a small private college. I was unemployed for 15 months, and we adapted and we moved forward. In adverse times, it's amazing what the human resilience can do. It's amazing what you and I can do individually, but the synergism of us together to get through those times. And I look at where I am today and I'm blessed because I went forward. I knew I could adapt. I knew I could make it. And then we faced 9/11 that just seemed to shut down the world. What are we going to do? What's going to happen there? I was actually working international relief at that time. And I was sitting in Nairobi, Kenya. I just put a team on the airplane at Jomo Kenyatta Airport to fly back to the States. I get back to the hotel and I'm watching on CNN International the attacks on the tower. And I'm sitting there and I know I've got a team airborne going to London. And I know I have another team airborne coming in, not knowing who was going to be able to get home, who was going to be able to arrive, and not knowing, was I going to be able to get back to the States in a timely manner. Once again, we persevered, we adapted, we moved forward. And I'm going to tell you what, after 9/11, I lost a friend. I lost one of my college friends in the Pentagon, and life went on. And I'm going to tell you a little something there, and I want to share with you personally. I had the opportunity to speak to his wife after that. And what she told me has always stuck with me. She said, Alan, I forgot to tell him I loved him this morning when he went to work. And that's my challenge I want to do to you. Never leave your loved ones without letting them know that you love them. That goes a long way. And her sharing that helped me adapt with that loss and move forward. And so now we wake up and we have a thing called the coronavirus and all the things that have spurred out from that. And I'm going to sit here as a testimony to tell you, we as individuals will adapt. We will change. We will look at the challenges. We will turn those into opportunities, and we will go forward to be the best we've ever been. We're going to be Georgia strong. We're going to be dog strong, and we're going to go through this together. And we're going to do this because each and every one of us as individuals know how to adapt. I just want to share with you in a few more minutes some things that I've done during change that have helped me. The first thing I've done is I've taken personal responsibility. It took me a while to learn this, but I'm sharing with you the only things I can control in my life are my thoughts, my actions, and my words. I can't control anybody else's, but I can control mine, my actions, my thoughts, and my words. See, my mom always taught me, Alan, be careful what you think because you just might say it. And that has stuck with me. And I just think that's a good saying. And in my actions, I have found out my actions always speak louder than my words. And so to make sure I'm doing the right actions. And then, of course, my words. And folks, we can't take words back. Words can hurt. Words are sharp as a two-edged sword. And sometimes we say it. But if we get our thoughts in order and our actions in order, then we will say the right words at the right time to the right person. And to be able to do that, we have to have patience. And how do we have patience with others? There's going to be a lot of things going on as things continue to change, as we adapt to going back to work, as the rules, the regulations change, as we watch the daily directives come down. We're going to be able to do that, but we've got to have patience. We've got to respect each other. And there's three things we've got to do. We've got to listen. We've got to listen to what other people are saying to us. We've got to understand, not just listen, but understand where they are coming from and what they are saying to us. And the third thing we've got to do is we have to value them as a human being. And if we do that backwards, we value them as a human being, if we understand who they are, what they're saying, where they're coming from, then listening is just becomes so much a part of us. It becomes that muscle memory that we need moving forward. If you've noticed, listen, understand, and value spell the word love. Love one another. Randolph, I love the Bible verse that's always behind you when you're on Zoom from the house. I also want to share with you, for all of this to work, people are going to get on each other's nerves. We're going to step on each other's toes. Let's be forgiving. Let's remember that we all enjoy grace and mercy when we make a mistake. And let's make sure that we give that same grace and mercy to those that we feel are making mistakes. You know, we never know what's going on in somebody else's life. And I hope I said something today that will help you as an individual get fall ready, get ready to return to campus. You know, we're going to get through this together. We're going to be Georgia strong. We're going to be dog strong, and we're going to be auxiliary strong. And each and every one of you will be strong too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Oh my word, I gotta pause for a second, right? You've got, just FYI, Alan, you have the chat box lit up with comments, lots of thank you, lots of great words of wisdom. Folks are very appreciative for the inspiration that you've brought. I think this was excellent. I know we were in for a good treat, but this was even better. It's almost like the ice cream. You're supposed to get one scoop and then you get 4 scoops and it's about this high. That's how it feels. So thank you so much. I'm gonna go through, Julia, if we could go through the chat and just pull out some of the comments that we see, would be good. I'm gonna scroll back a little bit. Alan, again, there are a bunch of thank yous all over the place for what's being called an awesome message. Teresa said, yes, individually we are strong, but together we are powerful. We've had, thank you so much for sharing your experience and encouragement. Tamala wants to thank you for your personal testimony. It's very inspirational. I'm gonna say this on camera. You've even got an Alan Coker for president.
No, thank you. Randolph, I've been blessed, and I'm just lucky to be able to pass that blessing on to others. And I truly try to live my life that way. And I fail every day, and that's why I love forgiveness.
Yeah, and Robert is saying more examples of thinking bigger. Lots of thanks for the encouragement. It's been considered spectacular. You get a standing O for Alan from Richard. And again, it is good. Any questions or comments that folks have, continue to add them. We actually have a few minutes left in the day, but I don't know if we can add any more to this. We'll continue to take a few comments as they come in. Folks, if you haven't had an opportunity to look at the Arch News email that came out yesterday, take a look at it. It's I'm going to share my screen real quickly just to give you a gist of what that is. It is the university's guideline for return to campus. And a lot of the questions that you all have been asking have been addressed in those, and the ones where the university haven't gotten answers for yet, it's stated in there. So I would encourage you, look into that Arch email. We will go ahead and put that particular document on the Auxiliary Connections resource page as well. Also, do realize that behind the scenes, all of the directors, assistant directors, associate directors, and managers are combing this document for what they mean for you and for myself, and how do we then take the information provided here and operationalize it. So more to come on this. Again, thank you, Alan. I've been asked by David to go up. David had a great post that Robert commented on. Julia, can we find that? David's post.
Yeah, give me one.
You can just read that. I've got it. So Alan, David is saying, and to the team, David is saying, for those who are on YouTube as well, he says, sometimes these changes can have adverse effects emotionally, and we need some kind of techniques to change the emotions that are created by these situations. We need to learn how to have tools that help us overcome the effects about these changes. We might see these changes negatively, and it would be nice to have a catchphrase or an action that convert to a positive motivation. We started, David, with the word "fall ready together." I've seen a number of strong but stronger together. So we'll continue working on a catchphrase. We'll ask units to find some for their either individual units or auxiliary as a whole. And like Alan was saying, we have overcome some serious things before, but I think as an auxiliary family, we have a team of individuals at all levels of our organization that can come out with this even stronger. So if there are any more comments from YouTube, Julia?
Lots of thank you and appreciation for the uplifting message today.
All right. Well, y'all, for the first time, we're going to give you back a few minutes in your day. It's been great listening to Susan and team. It's been great hearing from Alan. I can't close without seeing, I think it's Don's iPad, so I don't know if it's Don Walter. He says Tortilla Man for VP. And so, Alan, you have a good ticket there to run on, all right? Take care, y'all. Join us at 2 o'clock for an update on fall readiness together with Matt and the golf course and also our team members from the UGA bookstore. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and see you all at 2 o'clock. Bye-bye.